Hello and welcome back to a new episode where I review free desktop recording programs. Today, 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐵 Video Capture from 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 software. Disclaimer, there are a couple of irregularities with this particular company and the software, and it's not everything as it seems. According to Wikipedia, this program has two versions, professional and home version. The home version is free. All the hidden stuff, the truth, will be revealed at the end of the video in the final summary segment of this video. If you want to skip there right now, feel free to do so. I felt like it would be the best for me to give you a disclaimer instead of showing you all these issues at the beginning, because I don't really want to botch the review, if you will, or create any sort of bias, but I still had to give some sort of disclaimer, and you will see why. So let's get to it. As usual, you can see the photo on the screen right now, which is my criteria for free desktop recording programs. First things first, what I'm going to check out is the website. One thing that I see is 𝐻𝐻𝐻 software actually has bunch, as their name says, they have actually a bunch of softwares, from video tools to image to recording to editing. What we are interested in is the video tools, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 Video Recorder. So let's click there. 𝐸𝐻𝐻 Video Capture and Screen Recorder, record video from webcam. Then we have a list of some features, and then if we scroll down we see more lists of more features, which sort of give us the idea of what we can expect, and that's a good thing. So moving down, we see a couple of screenshots to show us how the program looks like, and that is just fine. The first thing that I want to focus on is how do you get or how do you download the home version. This website actually has two separate downloads. If I click right now on the download now button, what I will be prompted to download is the professional version, and the name of that file is 𝐸𝐻𝐻 Video Capture Software.exe, and the file size is 2.4 megabytes, and that's not the one we want to download. Also, if you click downloads button, it prompts you to download the same program. Considering that it's a plural, you would expect it to take you to a page where you have the list of all the programs to download, which is this one, products. But that doesn't happen. So guys from 𝐻𝐻𝐻, you might want to remove the S here since it's misleading. How do you download the free version, the home version? Well, you simply scroll down and find free software. And then you click there, and then you look for 𝐸𝐻𝐻 Video Capture, but don't click on this link here. See, if you click that, it takes you back to the original page. You need to go to the right side and click download for Windows, and the file that you will be prompted to download is 𝐸𝐻𝐻 setup.exe, and that file is also 2.4 megabytes. So you can see how this creates confusion as well. Anyhow, I downloaded both of these files, and as you can see, their sizes are 100% same, 2.42 megabytes on both of these. The website itself is fairly clean, but there are a couple of irregularities and it simply creates confusion. Let's compare features of Pro and free version. I looked through their website and I wasn't able to find any link or any page that compares the features. What exactly is the difference? So what I decided to do is I googled and I tried to find if there's any sort of record that says or that specifies what exactly are the differences. I wasn't able to find any, but I did find a couple of posts on their forums where people simply ask, hey, what's the difference between free, home, professional editions? What's the difference between free and purchased versions? Explain. This already looks bad. Already gives you the idea from the website itself, but also with this, that they are simply not being upfront and honest about this. If you guys are willing to go through these, feel free to do so. What I'm going to do really quickly, however, is I will scroll down and showcase these posts just really quickly in case the developers decide to remove these pages. I want to have this on a video record. So let us go simply through this, and at the end of the video I am also going to read this to you and point out a couple of things that stood out to me in these posts. So moving on, I tested out the free version and the professional version. Professional version is just called Pro version. There's no other name for it. But free version is called Home version, and it's also called Light version. So one version of the program has 3 different names. Why? I don't know, it just adds to the confusion. The recording process goes as you first click this to open up the free version. You select your primary monitor, what you want to capture, you select the proper format, and you select all the encoder settings, and then you hit record, you click start recording, gives you the message 3, 2, 1, and the recording starts. And if I'm speaking, you can see that there is a little indicator for the volume, the frames per second, how long are you recording, and if you want to stop, you simply click that, and you can click play to play the recording. It's gonna do this little thingy where it converts it, and then it just starts. Here's the player itself. You have the options how to preview it, the actual size, and then you can also full screen it. You have the buttons to skip to start and the end of the video, and also to move in time couple of frames. I see it's always moving 0.4 over here if you look at that. There you go. Okay, so here's the program and how it looks like. As you can see, it says right here, debut professional. You have been using professional version, which includes all functionalities and features, and then you have the buttons. Buy the license or enter the code if you already purchased it, and then there's a third button which says try the free light version, features will be restricted. So we click there and we can see nothing really changed. The title of the program didn't change. The same title still stays the same in the both versions. Doesn't matter which version you are using. So let me showcase the program and the features that are available. One thing that I will do in this video is every time the program bugs out and every time I have to log off, I'm gonna count it and see how many times it happened to me while I was making this video. So let's get to it. Up here we have the menu, which has a bunch of functionalities and buttons like record, pause and stop. We can capture a snapshot. We can schedule a recording, and by the way that works is once you schedule the recording and the clock gets to the time that you signified, the recording is going to start automatically. There's no prompt that tells you it's going to start in 3, 2, 1, nothing. It starts right away. You can also manage the recordings, which are obviously the recordings you have. One interesting thing is you can actually select which monitor you want to capture. So let's say I want to capture primary one. As you can see, it switches to the primary monitor. I also have a secondary. I can record the whole desktop, which means both of my screens at the same time, which is very nice. Moving on, we also have a history of selected areas. So whatever we selected previously, if we want to go back to it, we can also do that, which is actually really nice. One thing that we can do also is we can make the program follow the mouse, which it's going to follow it no matter what. Doesn't matter if you don't have the monitor. If there's no screen anymore, as you can see, it still follows it. Also, we can zoom in to the mouse and we can make it follow it, which is very nice. Under view, this is actually how you want your program, the debut program, to look like. You want it to be full screen. You want to view the recordings, which you probably noticed is the same button as manage recordings. See? Find and play. Find and play, same buttons. Moving on, we can minimize the tray. Then we have a couple of tools that I would like to showcase really quickly. Also, by the way, we have a bunch of these buttons right here, as you can see. I did skip the buttons for selecting the regions and selecting the windows, which are right here as well. Also, again, we have the history right here. So moving on to tools, these are also known as effects. So we can have a text caption. So if I click also this button, it does the same thing. I can type in some text which shows up at the bottom of the screen and I can remove it. Also, I can move this text. I can rearrange it. I can align it. I can also include the time, as you can see. Change the size, change the padding. Let's say we do that. We can change the color and also outline it. And then we can also, by the way, change the font itself. And then we can reset this to default, which, yeah, as you can see, simply removes everything, which is nice. Moving on, we have color and video effects. These allow us to simply add some effect live. So pretty much that's what we're doing. We can add a filter. So black and white negative. This one also. We can rotate the screen vertically, horizontally. Then we can also, again, reset the default. Moving on, we have watermark. Now, with free version, if I click on it, it simply doesn't work. So moving on, we have camera overlay, which allows us to add a camera. And I'm actually just going to do a sample image right here. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. You can actually change the size and it goes up until 420p. I'm not sure if I am able to go above it. Yeah, I'm obviously not. Or maybe it's if your camera supports it. Yeah, definitely. If your camera supports it, it's going to work. But here's what happened, guys. The program right now started to be unresponsive for the first time. So as you can see, not responding. And what I have to do right now is log off. So that's one time that it became unresponsive. Once the program becomes unresponsive and you have to log off, you start it up again and it says, did it hang or crash when last run? And you can just click something else and it starts up again. So let's move on. I'm going to go back to camera overlay and just select this sample camera. So again, format simply corresponds to what your camera supports. Then you have camera options, which if you have a URL for the camera, you can type it in and see that. Then we have microphone settings, which I'll go back to that. Then we can also align the camera, so wherever we want. Also, we can change the size of the camera, and then the margin size, how much is it going to be away from the screen. So I'm going to take this opportunity to just showcase how the watermark looks like. So on the left bottom corner, you can see there is NCH logo, but on the right corner, there is text that says this was recorded with the Butte Home Edition, and then it gives you the link for the program. So that's as far as the camera goes, which, there we go, it's not responding again. Moving on, we have a button for chroma key, which is simply green screening. So I can actually green screen, let's say this red in the video. So let me show you this. If I enable it and then under green screen color, I choose red color, you will notice that all the red on the left side has disappeared, and I can actually replace it with any other color. Let's say green. So as you can see right now, we have green there. That's because I'm using green screen. We can also change the threshold. And that's about it. And also, supposedly you can add a custom image there, which is really nice. Moving on, we have mouse settings, and sadly, the program is not responding once again. Under mouse settings, so we can choose to show our mouse. We can also highlight the mouse cursor. First things first, we can highlight the mouse itself. So if I move my mouse around, there's going to be a highlight around it. Then we can also highlight the mouse clicks. So left click, right click, and also the middle click will have different colors. And we also have timing, and we can also change how it looks like. So is it solid circle? It's just a highlight circle. Damn it, it lagged again. I wanted to click on mouse setting. Something else. What? I don't believe this. It's not responding again. Well, I'm gonna show this in the video. So I was able to turn on the mouse highlight settings, and as you can see, if I move the mouse, the highlight appears around it. It's just an empty circle. And if I click, you'll notice that now we have red circle, then we have blue circle, and also the green one, depending if I click. And you'll also notice that there is a small mouse that shows just for a slight second in the bottom right corner. I want to try to show you highlight circle as well. So as you can see, if I move the mouse, there's sort of a spotlight on it, and also if you click, it's the same but different color. So I guess you can say it's same but different, but still same. Okay, moving on. Next we have audio settings, which I'm going to come back to. We have launch, and we can actually launch a couple of other programs, which of course require downloading and installation. I'm going to come back to options. Let's really quickly check help. Before that, as you can see, they included a bunch of options. Their homepage, you can share it, you can purchase. There is support page, there is community forum, there is send bug report, which I'm going to make sure to do. Check for updated version. You're using the current version. There is a little bit of advertisement as we've seen. Let's really quickly check out the other buttons. So we have a button for webcam. That means we can only record the webcam. Then we can also record a device, let's say VHS. We can record a network IP camera, for example. So as you can see, it simply shows the webcam and device. Since I don't have it, it's not there. We have a network, which we can put in the URL, the user, and the password of the network camera. Also, we can choose the screen here. Then again, we have the same buttons, camera overlay, and then we also have the same button, recordings, which again shows us all the recordings we have. Again, there's an options button. There's a couple of extra buttons here that are again duplicates. So moving on, I showed you these buttons here, which are again duplicates as the previous ones. A couple of options on the right side. We have show selection rectangle while recording. So if I am recording only an area, it's going to show me that. We can also center recording on the cursor, but it's not really doing that. As you can see, I am moving the cursor, and the screen is not moving until I move the cursor a little further away, if you will. So it's not actually following it 100%. And then we can also show cursor while recording option. Right here we select the formats and also some options for particular devices if you're interested. And also you have custom. Then we have record, pause, stop. Right here we can mute or unmute the audio, and then we can take a snapshot. Let's do that right now really quickly. So hold on. There we go. It sort of gives us the sound effect. And one more thing that we see is this little navigator window here, which shows us the red rectangle, which signifies where we are at the moment. and it shows us our whole desktop as well in this big rectangle. So we sort of have a little mini map, if you will. Okay, now let's focus on the options since I did skip those. First things first, we can select the format we want to record, and encoder options actually vary depending on what we select. So as you can see, so what I'm going to select is AVI, since we cannot record in MP4. Actually, we cannot record into anything else other than AVI, ASF, and WMV. So let's select MPEG and click record. As you can see, we get this prompt. So since we can use only these, AVI is the most popular, let's focus on it. Encoder options, again, opens up the encoder options specific for the encoder you select here. So it's going to be different for each one. Video options are always the same. You can actually shrink or enlarge, which means stretch the video recording. Also, you can limit the frame rate and it goes up to 60 FPS. And there's a little tip that I actually like. 24 frames per second is universally accepted film frame rate. So it teaches you a little bit. I like this. I wish more programs would do this. Moving on, we have enable time lapse, which actually tells the program to capture one frame or one screenshot every 1 minute, second, or every hour, depending how you set it up. Let's click on tools and then go to options and check out the actual options for the program. So these over here are for the video. Whether you have webcam, you can select your webcam and then set its settings. Moving on, we have options to stretch it to widescreen or deinterlace the video. We have capture device, which is if you have any device hooked up to your computer like VHS or maybe an external capture card. Next, we can again network camera. So if I had some sort of camera connected to my internet, I would be able to see it here. Maybe even some online custom cameras I could load up in here that are available on the internet. Then going to screen capture, we can actually, which is the option we use. Right here, one thing that stands out is we can select the frame rate, which again we can go up until 60 and as low as 10 frames. Moving on to audio, let's us select our audio devices. So we can select multiple, not just microphone, but also the speakers. But sadly, I cannot see my speakers on the list. Let's click sound mixer. Yeah, it's not there for some reason. These are my headphones and these are my speakers, as you can see, but I don't see Realtek or Focusrite on the list. So I don't know what gives. But over here I can select my microphone. I can also add mouse click effects, which sometimes can be annoying, but some people like to add them if you are not commentating while recording the video. Moving on, output. One thing that I like is over here we can have a warning. So let's say we are running low on space. We can tell the program to let us know so we can stop the recording and not run out of the space completely and maybe bug out the computer. We can select the folder where to record. Now here's one thing, we can actually format the output file name. So if we want it to be called something and then give it a number or maybe a time and date or something, we can do that. Also, we have an option, for example, to back up our recordings so they get saved to another hard drive or to a network or something. We can do that here, and we can also run a command line application. So if we want something custom, some certain operation to be run, we can do that if you know the coding, I guess, as well. Moving on, hotkeys, simple stuff, shortcuts. Under record, we can actually set the limit to the maximum time recorded and then what to do once this time has reached its limit. Under screen capture, we also have a couple of extra options, which I think are self-explanatory. Moving on to cursor, I already showed you guys this. Moving on to snapshots, it's actually very similar to the output tab because we can select the folder, we can format the name. Now we can select what format and also the quality, lowest, medium, or highest quality possible. As well as we have some other extra self-explanatory options. Under other, we have bunch of options as well. Most of them are self-explanatory, but one that really stands out to me is stop recording screen capture when audio source is unplugged. This is very useful. Let's say your microphone malfunctions, it stops working, or you accidentally unplug it and you don't know about it and you just keep recording on and on and on, and then finally you preview your recording and you find out that your microphone wasn't recording at all. Well, this program can actually stop your recording so you don't look like a fool. They're really useful. And that's about it when it comes to showcasing the program. When it comes to my first impressions, honestly, the program is just fine. I didn't see the option to record into a separate audio track. It looks just fine, has bunch of options, but I have to mention the issue where program just becomes unresponsive and you have to log off. Really annoys me, and I've noticed that only happens once the trial expires and you are using the free/home version. So far, I've been recording for like half an hour and I had the issue 4 times. One time the program wouldn't even open, it started being unresponsive right away. If that's gonna continue happening, it's gonna be a huge pain in the ass, and there's no way I'm gonna deal with that. Now moving on, does this program have luxury features, and what are they? Yes, it does. One luxury feature is the mouse cursor highlight itself. Looks very slick, and also if the mouse is stationary, there is no highlight, but if you start moving it, it shows up. You have a bunch of options like text, changing the color, chroma key, just really lots of features. One feature I also like is this little navigator, mini-map if you will. I like that. And just overall, all these extra settings, backing up, the snapshot format, the play the sound, all these other options are actually quite useful, and I do consider a lot of them luxury. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag and drop this video into my video editing software, and let's find out what happens here. First thing I see is 2 tracks, 1 video, 1 audio, and let's preview it really quickly. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And as you can see, or hear, as I'm clicking, so... Oh my god! What? And we can see that we have this... The audio quality is terrible, but you can hear the clicks of the mouse. Now the audio quality is, or the microphone quality is actually terrible. Maybe it's because I didn't set it up correctly. You will see the final result in the sample video, but this is just to judge exactly how the video is. And one thing that I really wanted to focus on is just to see if the video lags. And honestly, I can't see any lag. The video seems to be functioning properly. And that's about it. As far as the size and the quality, you guys will be the judge in the sample video, but in the next segment, let's check out the bad things I ran into. First major thing is lagging or unresponsiveness. The program, for some reason, just goes unresponsive, and you can't even close it by using Task Manager. If you try to do that, the Task Manager opens up, but it simply doesn't work as well. Your whole computer is blocked. But as you've seen throughout the video, when it did become unresponsive, my recording still continued, which signifies that my computer is fine. It's simply the program that's blocking it. Next up is this additional watermark. There's one on the left, fine, it's a logo. Usually that's what the companies do, but then on the right side you have another one. As far as... Oh my god. Once more. 6 times. The way the mouse following is coded is it doesn't start to follow it right away. It's not centered on it. It starts to move only when the mouse gets close to leaving the screen. So again, it can create very awkward situations where I literally have to like hit the screen to make it move. The way the mouse highlight is set up, if I accidentally keep moving the mouse, look at this, it's like it's blinking right now. There is no option to actually make the mouse highlight stay on it and not fade out. It's always going to fade out as soon as you stop moving the mouse. Under output file name format, there is no suggestion or anything that tells you what options you have. How can you format? What exactly are you supposed to type in to format the name properly or the way you wanted it to? The highlight that says solid circle, well, it is circle, but it's not solid. It only has a stroke around it. It's not filled in, so it's not really solid. It's more like it's transparent with a stroke around it. Another bad thing is simply the confusion between the programs, but I'm gonna leave that for at the end of the video. Okay, now let's check out the good things I ran into. First things first, the program has options across the board. I don't count this necessarily as a good thing, but the program has multiple buttons that do the same thing, which can help you with faster workflow where you want to click here or go to Tools, Text, Captions, whichever one works for you. At least you have the options, and I like that. The sole options themselves are a huge plus. Like for example, chroma key. You can record your whole desktop. That means record both monitors. It could probably record even 3 or 4 monitors. I don't know, I don't have that many. If you have, feel free to test it out. Another thing is history of selections. So let's say you recorded a particular window or particular area. You're gonna have that here and you can quickly switch to it. The fact that you can record multiple devices, not just your screen, is amazing. And another huge thing that I really love is this little mini-map here, the little navigation window, which tells you where exactly are you located at the moment when it comes to your whole desktop. So 3, 2, 1, we're recording at the moment, and I am purposefully playing again the music in the background so we can actually hear how it sounds. This time I decided to have a little bit different background, which you'll notice that the trees are moving as well as water or some other things, to give you guys the idea if this program is lagging, and also so you can judge the quality of the program. And I also, by the way, noticed, yep, this is moving, so just wanted to showcase it. Let's click a couple of times as well, and that's about it. Final summary and a review. I'm assuming a lot of you skipped to this portion of the video to hear my thoughts and also to reveal you what's the truth, what I was talking about in the beginning of the video. One thing to have in mind is both paid and free version look the same, they have the same options, but the free version has some restrictions, so that's what I'm going to focus on here. Because if I don't, then effectively I am reviewing the paid version, so I'll have to focus on the free version in the final review. They do look the same, they do have the same features, but the restrictions that free version has. First things first, these watermarks that are going a little bit too far. Why is the text necessary? I don't understand. I think the watermark with the logo is just fine. Then when it comes to formats to record, you have a bunch of options, but you can't use none of those. You can only use ASF, AVI, and WMV. Another restriction is you cannot mess with the watermark settings at all. If you try, you get this error. Every time you run into some restriction, you're gonna get this prompt. You cannot use this, you need a professional version. So far, I was able to find that in 3 occasions. Huge issue I have with this program is as soon as the trial expires, the program starts to become unresponsive from time to time. It took me about 45 minutes to record this video, and the program was unresponsive at least 7 times, if not more. I didn't record every single time, because most of the times it became unresponsive was when I log back in and I start the program. It just wouldn't start at all. Sometimes when I click on a certain option, it becomes unresponsive. So it's like you're playing a Minesweeper game. Other than that, again, this program is ultimately the same, so I'm not going to bother reviewing other options at all. What instead I will focus on is revealing the truth to you guys and showing you what exactly is going on behind the scenes. What did I talk about at the beginning of the video? NCH software, if we go to Wikipedia, there is a button that says controversy, and it says, during 2013, some computer companies categorized NCH software as bloatware because it came with Google Toolbar. Debut video capture software Wikipedia also has a button, controversy and criticism, where in the past a company gave you the option to download Ask or Chrome toolbars, but these options were checked by default and also generated malware warnings from companies like McAfee and Norton. Also, a class action lawsuit was filed relating to security vulnerabilities. The case was later dismissed. On their website, they don't disclose what are you downloading. You actually have to figure it out on your own. Also, they don't tell you what's the difference, and they just keep on confusing you. What's the free version? What's the home? What's professional? What is this light version? What are we talking about? I have Googled and I found that couple of people actually posted on their forums asking, hey, what's the difference? What are you guys on? What's going on here? And then there was a lot of discussion, but ultimately it all comes down to, I understand having a trial version that expires, but you should be upfront about it. Saying that there is fully operational version free for home use is simply not true. Your software is actually quite good, so I don't see a reason to be misleading in your descriptions. As well as another one, which simply says, NCH should stop with this bait and switch tactic. And I do agree, this program is actually quite good. When it's fully operational, I had the opportunity to test the trial version and it was just fine, fully functional, you have a bunch of options, plus it's very small program, 2.4 megabytes. But to have this nonsense about it, I don't see a reason to put up with it. I think this is a pure case of something good that was simply ruined by the politics. You have a chance to go for a 4-peat, but no, you have to decide to redo it and do your little politics thingy. What for? I don't know. What's my final grade? Like in the previous videos, I'm not going to tell you guys my grade in the video, but I will tell you to check out the link in the description and the comments below where you can open up the Google spreadsheet that I have created and you can read the grades that I have given to all the other programs as well, and also some extra info that I wanted to include. Little reminder, if you guys would like to follow this series, you can click the subscribe button to stay notified about the future episodes. And yeah, that's it. Consider leaving the like, maybe the comment below, tell me what do you think, what's your opinion on the video, on the program itself, on my review, and that's it. I'm gonna leave you guys here, and I will see you in future episodes where I review more programs. That's about it. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Priest, and I am signing out.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back.